Deepening defense cooperation, co-production, linking of supply chains will be a big priority for India-US this week. India-US will sign a government-to-government deal for jet engines. This deal between GE and HAL is being touted as unprecedented. India is also going to acquire 31 drones from General Atomics, which will boost our maritime surveillance capabilities. India and US will also agree to work on a defense industrial roadmap. Negotiating agreements on security of supply and reciprocal defense procurements is also on the agenda. All eyes will be on the Indus X summit on Wednesday. This conference is being organized by the US Chambers of Commerce and Industry in partnership with US Department of Defense and the Indian Defense Ministry. The aim is to boost India's defense exports to $5 billion and explore joint opportunities in high-tech defense innovation, research and development. Let me go across to Vivek Lall, CEO of General Atomics Global Cooperation. Mr. Lall, thank you very much for joining us. Let me ask you about Indus X first. This is being organized in collaboration with the US Department of Defense and the Indian Defense Ministry. The US-India Business Council is spearheading this initiative. What will Indus X do in terms of industry-to-industry cooperation in the defense sector?
Yeah, thank you, Parikshit. As you rightly mentioned, this is a partnership between the Department of Defense and MOD, and US IBC is hosting it indeed here in Washington, D.C. And the effort here is to catalyze a defense innovation ecosystem. It is also going to be the platform where startups can exhibit cutting-edge technologies to one another and indeed to the world. So I think the defense industry has been asking for this type of platform for a while, and I think it's all coming together where you can connect startups as well as primes, as well as academic institutions in the defense space together. So I think Indus X is offering that platform, and we hope that it will accelerate the deal flow. Clearly, there's a lot of enthusiasm on both sides, right, and I expect it to be a success.
Right. I would also like to ask you, the Foreign Secretary yesterday, while briefing the media, said the most important priority on the defense sector will be having a defense industrial roadmap. Give us a sense of how this visit and meeting between Prime Minister Modi and President Biden could pave the way for closer supply chain linkages between the private sector in the defense industry between the two countries.
Yes, so as you know, the Critical and Emerging Technologies Initiative was launched between both the NSAs, and we see that as a great method through which you can accelerate interagency cooperation and focus on strategic areas where there is strong political consensus and a sense of urgency. So over time, it would be great to see this energy expand to various areas of the bilateral trade relationship. But I think has proven that when the signals of urgency come from the tops of the government, the whole system, including in this case, the defense industry, starts to move. And I think we can apply that also to the overall target of $500 billion in trade.
Right. I would also like to ask you about the much reported Predator drone deal, the deal for MQ-9 Reaper drones. The Defense Acquisition Council in India has approved the acquisition of 31 drones in a phased manner from General Atomics. What is the stage at which the deal is at currently, Mr. Lall?
I won't be able to comment on that because that's a government-to-government exercise, but I think the environment for US-India defense relationship is one of great, tremendous convergence. I think over the last few years and more recently with all the foundational agreements being signed, I think there is a common interest for not only the governments but the defense industries on both sides to actually converge. There's a lot of innovation through startups, through medium, small enterprises, through large companies. So I think this has been never a better time for the relationship to get a catalyst and a fillip so that real progress can be made, both in terms of co-development and co-production.
Right. Even if we don't talk about the contours of the deal, like you said, it's a government-to-government agreement, but MQ-9 Reaper drones, how do they give an edge to India in terms of maritime surveillance and our maritime domain awareness?
So, of course, the MQ-9B has been well proven in terms of its capabilities, as you said, for maritime surveillance, but also, it has various other operational profiles in terms of an high altitude, long endurance capability. It's the world's best, and it has proven its mettle in various operational scenarios. As you know, India is operating two leased aircraft, and the range of operations and the range of capabilities is well known.
How is General Atomics seeing India's defense industry, deepening of partnership with the Indian defense sector and greater presence in the years to come, Mr. Lall?
So we have already established several relationships, not only with the startups, but also with the larger companies, including, both in terms of your traditional engagements, but also in areas of critical needs, such as artificial intelligence, and such as semiconductors and so forth. And we hope to take the partnership to a very significant level. And I think all the tools that we talked about and this platform of Indus X, it allows, again, the meeting of minds and the exchange of innovation systems as well as innovative technologies that can work both ways.
Right. A very important part of the initiative on critical and emerging technologies right now is having a negotiation on a security of supply agreement and a reciprocal defense procurement agreement. Give us a sense of what this means in common parlance for the common man, and what will this mean in terms of a defense supply chain between India and US?
Yeah, so as we find out, over the years, that it is very important to have resilient supply chains, and there are various constructs in which that can be enabled. But certainly, as we look at critical and emerging technologies, it is very important that like-minded nations and partners and allies work together to ensure that the security of supply chains remain resilient, and that is obviously an implication on national security. And the other aspect to it is it's a two-way flow. So between US and India, there are great innovation ecosystems in both countries. And how do you actually merge that so that it's complementary and they feed on each other to grow the pie, so to speak, in terms of innovation among like-minded partners and allies. And so I think it is some of these agreements will provide the framework for industry to step up at every level, whether they're large, medium, or small, or they're startups, to actually fit into that framework and grow not only the companies and the industries, but indeed create that fabric of national security.
Right. Mr. Vivek Lall, thank you very much for joining us here on CNBC TV18, giving us a full overview of what the India-US defense engagement will be all about this week. And clearly, there will be a big jump in defense cooperation, defense technology cooperation between India and the United States in the days to come. Thanks once again for being with us here on CNBC. With that, it's a wrap on this special broadcast. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.